Present is where we can create live interactive dashboards that can be shared with and presented to our colleagues. Presentation dashboards are comprised of a number of slides. On each slide we can add data visualizations, data-driven infographics and text, slices, third-party content, static images and other dynamic elements. We have a lot of control over the look and feel of the presentation, including design, layout, fonts, color palettes and any other branding elements. There are two ways to design and create presentations. First is Present Lite, a highly simplified toolset for less technical creators, and Present Pro, which is the full presentation designer for pro users with all features and capabilities. In this video we're focusing on building presentations in Present Pro. To launch Present Pro, open the Present module from the home page or from the App tab menu. Initially we arrive at the new presentation interface where we need to select a styling theme package, choose the device that we want to optimize sizing for, and choose a layout and resolution. In the center of the workspace we have our canvas. This is the first slide in our presentation deck and where we'll add content. At the top we have our ribbons to access functions and options. On the left we have the content tree from which we can pick pre-existing content to add to the presentation using simple drag and drop. On the right we have the slides panel where we can add, remove and select slides, and above this we have access to the master slides, which allow us to template designs for all slides in the deck. Separately we have used content for convenient access to previously used items, the slices panel for a listing of slices or data filters that are deployed in the dashboard, targets and formatting. Let's start by enabling slide templates. I want to add a relevant title and subtitle to the cover slide, and I want to change the layout for the standard content slide a little. And this is now applied across all slides in the deck. Now let's add some content to the presentation. Slide 1 is the cover page, so let's add and then click on slide 2. Using the content panel, let's drag the report to the canvas. We can easily place and resize each item. Let's continue and add a few more visualizations. Next I'll add a slicer or data filter to the canvas, which will allow users to dynamically filter the dashboard content when it's launched. There are several ways to add slicers, but the easiest is to use an existing one that's been saved to an existing report. Another easy technique is to create a new slicer using the Quick Slicer Builder from the Toolbox menu. We click Add New Slicer, choose the model, then choose the hierarchy to drive the slicer. There are more advanced ways for doing this, but these are the easiest. Pyramid uses smart heuristics to create interactions or logical data joins between items in the dashboard. Click Show Interactions to show and edit them. You can then right-click on an interaction to delete it or edit it in the Interaction Manager. Now I want to neaten up the layout a little bit here, so I'll use the Alignment and Distribution Layout tools. I'll also group these two items together into a single container so that I can move and resize them together. Now we've added content directly to the canvas, but we can also organize content into special containers like the table or mini tabs. I'll add a table with 4 cells. I can drop content into each of these segments. I'll add a dynamic image, a bar chart, a pie chart, and a gauge. The Mini Tab tool offers another way to display content. Here we can add a content item to each tab, and I can add more tabs from the context menu. Each tab can also use text or an icon. Mini tabs are great for switching out different pieces of information using the same real estate. Now that we've added content to the presentation, let's look at adding some other assets. I'll start by adding a dynamic jump button. We can configure buttons, texts, and images to jump to a specified slide in the presentation, or a URL, or data discovery. Next, I'll add a dynamic web panel to display a web page in my presentation. You can simply add the URL as is, or you can use Prequel to make this dynamic. I'll add a simple caption statement, and then I'll link this up with a slicer. The slicer will feed the URL at runtime. As a final piece of content, I'm going to add dynamic data-driven text. I'll use a combination of text and placeholders. Placeholders are used to display slicer selections. The text in the placeholder is dynamically updated when a slicer selection is made. Dynamic text is driven by data values from a grid query. This text is going to tell me sales for the selected country. Now we've got 2 slides and a cover page. Let's see our presentation in runtime and interact with it. Click the pyramid button to launch the presentation. We can navigate through our slides and interact with our content. We can see that when we make a selection from the slicer, the reports are filtered accordingly. We can also cross-filter and cross-highlight reports by clicking on the relevant data points. And we can open the context menu for other functions including dicing data, quick filters, and quick sorting. When we make a selection from the country slicer, our dynamic URL is loaded in the presentation and our dynamic placeholder is updated as well. And when I click on the jump button here, the linked content item is opened in a new tab. We can also change the visual representation of any of the reports. Right-click on a report and choose the visual that you want to use. We can get more insights about a report using the Smart Insights tool, which will show us a range of facts and analyses based on the report. This helps us glean information quickly. We can also adjust the visualizations with the chatbot to change and manipulate the query using natural language. Users can also choose to write comments on a presentation, drive data-driven alerts, or even take any visualization and analyze it further with a more powerful Discover Lite toolset. Once we're happy with the presentation, we can go ahead and save it. As always, we save our content to any of the 3 domains in the Content Manager. I'll save it to Workgroups so that other users with the same role as me can access the content immediately. That wraps up our overview of Present Pro. To learn more about Present, check out the video tutorials section in the online help.